What's going on, y'all? It's your friendly neighborhood realtor, Toma Johnson here. Thank you for checking in to another monthly market date for Temecula Valley. I am Toma Johnson, your host here, and I'm looking forward to talking to you about this one. So now we're looking at June 2025. I will say that I am a little late releasing this one, but it is important to continue sharing with you how things are going on a monthly basis because the market does fluctuate. What I'm noticing out there as a boots on the ground real estate agent is that I really feel like it's a buyer's market, and that's the change that I'm seeing. What I find with the data is that it tends to kind of drag behind what the actual status is when you're an agent in the field working with clients. Things are a little different than the way the rest of the world feels about it because they're kind of getting the news as it comes, but the news tends to track a little behind. What I'm noticing as I'm taking buyers out in the field is that there's more properties that are available to them and there's less buyer competition. And I feel like that is mostly due to the interest rates. As the interest rates move up, less and less buyers remain in the field. And when they go down, they try to get out there. So what you'll find is that a lot of buyers, and maybe like yourself, want to wait to see what happens to the interest rates. But I would say that's the wrong thing to do because, again, if you're all waiting for the interest rates to come down, then what do you think is going to happen when that does come true and the interest rates come down? Well, I can tell you that more buyers are going to jump back into the buyer pool, which is going to increase demand for the homes that you're interested in, which means that you're going to have to pay more. It's going to drive the prices of homes up. And home prices are kind of steadily remaining about the same or going up. It's just, a product of the economy. Inflation is still up and it doesn't look like it's subsiding anytime soon. So mortgage rates don't look like they're going to come down anytime soon, and they don't look like they're going to make any dramatic moves. So my recommendation is, if you are just purely interested in purchasing a home or selling and purchasing or whatever it is, don't wait to try to time the market, because timing the market does not work. Most of the time it tends to work against you. So in this case, if you purchase a property now because you're a buyer and the interest rate is not something that you like, when the mortgage rates come down, you can refinance to bring your monthly payment down. Now, this is considering whether or not you can afford the monthly mortgage payment today at today's rates. So I know there's that one caveat, but the truth is, if home prices continue to go up and you purchase now, then the value of your home is going to go up when you decide to refinance. I don't know how much equity you have, that is left to be seen, but it doesn't make sense to try to time the market because, again, when the mortgage rates do come down, guess what? You're going to see a lot more buyers on the market and you're going to be in competition, which is going to drive the prices up. So tomato, it's kind of the same thing. You should be happy. Just get your home and deal with the interest rates as they come. All right, so let's take a look at what the market trends are telling us for June 2025. For Temecula, we're looking at 4.5 months of inventory, and they're selling at 99% of list price. This is interesting because recently it was 3 point something months, and now it's at 4.5 months of inventory, which means that more properties are coming on the market, but demand from buyers is lower. Why are they lower? Because of mortgage rates. 24 days on the market, median days on the market, and that means that homes are sitting on the market longer. The sold price, $750,000. That means, as you can see, the price of sold homes on the market is going down. So that tends to skew towards a buyer's market, which I believe right now it's a buyer's market, even though, you know, historically it's a seller's market because there's not a lot of inventory and homes are very valuable. But the feeling is that it's a buyer's market, and I do feel strongly about that. But as far as values are concerned, as you can see, they're still steadily going up. They go up, they go down, but they're still staying right up there. So median price for Temecula houses being $782,000. New listings. So the prices of new listings on average is down to 777,000. The number of properties that are new on the market is up 10%, 250. So that's where it's trending, and you can see that clearly here with the numbers. Active listings, the median list price has gone down to 879,000. The number of properties on market has gone up to 473. The number of days on market has gone up to 42. Median price per square foot is up slightly, and total volume is up slightly. New pending listings, the price of new pending listings is down 739,000, and the number of pending listings is also down. Right? So you look at that, you see, okay. So for sellers, this just means, if you look at 22 days on market, that's not a long time. That's still less than a month. So it's still good. If you put your home on the market and you price it correctly, it's going to sell. But this is telling you not to overprice your list. When you list a property, make sure you list it at the right price. That's all this is saying, in order to attract the right buyers. This is not 2021, 2022, where you're going to get whatever you ask for the property and you're going to get several offers over list price anymore. That is not the case anymore. We're in 2025. The COVID years are gone. All that free money that we were getting from the government, with the stimulus is gone. So don't expect those same offers. Pending listings 782,000. So that is down. The price is down, and the number of properties that are pending is down. Right. So again, it's trending towards a buyer's market. Sold. The sold price is 750,000. That's down 0.7% month over month. Right? The number of properties sold has gone up a little bit. So a little bit of the inventory has come off the market. And look at this, 99%. So yeah, that's down 0.5%. So homes are selling for a little bit less. And that's pretty curious because we are in the middle of summer. We're in July right now. This is for June. So who knows what July is going to look like, right? So keep that in mind. I'll make sure to report that as quickly as I can next month. But back to what we were talking about in the beginning, 4.5 months of inventory left. And if you look at this trend here, it's going up. Right? So more homes are available, more inventory is available, more choices for buyers. I remember when that was 2 months, right? That's no longer the case, right? Less than a month here in February, early 2022, right? And now it's gone up to where we're getting 4.5 months. So buyers, keep that in mind. Although mortgage rates are a little bit higher than you'd like them to be, your opportunity to buy right now and get the choices that you want is up there. For instance, I remember in 2019, I helped some clients purchase with a VA loan. They were able to get a large amount of credits, about 20, I don't remember the exact amount, but it was about 20,000, I think, from the seller in order to pay for their closing costs. Okay, that's also going to be an option for buyers today. Especially if a seller really wants to sell, you're going to have an option to make an offer and ask for credits towards your closing cost from the seller, because there's not a lot of buyers on the market. So as we're working today, yesterday I just had a client who went under contract for a VA loan, which is 100% financing, by the way, and a fairly decent rate, just under 6%. But they were able to put an offer on a property and get 20 something thousand dollars in seller credits. Okay, so now the possibilities are there for you. I feel like the possibilities for first time buyers are even better than they were during, that high intensity year, because sellers are now, they're open to, I want to call it creative financing, but they're open to other options. They're open to whatever buyers that they can get because the buyer pool has shrunk. So again, is it a buyer's market? Not officially, but unofficially, it's a buyer's market. Sold public records, 749,000 is the median sold price for public records. That just means that these homes were sold privately and not listed on the multiple listing service. I want to share with you lastly an article that I was reading titled "Will Mortgage Rates Fall After the July Fed Meeting?" And here's what to expect. And I want to point out something that you should be paying attention to. So the latest inflation reading shows that inflation ticked up again in June to 2.7% after rising slightly in May. So although you as buyers may have been hoping or waiting for interest rates to come down, this is actually not bad news for you. This is actually great news, because that keeps the prices from skyrocketing out of control and gives you an opportunity. This is like that area where you can, if your resources of your capital, your liquid that you have in your accounts is lower, you can get help from sellers to help you purchase the property, right? It just takes, making the right offer and structuring the offer to help you purchase a house. And I'm all for first time home buyers, because we all have to buy a home we all would love to buy a home at some point in our life, and you have to do it for the first time, right? And then once you do it for the first time, it gets a little bit easier. So keep that in mind, that this is a great opportunity for first time home buyers. There's also some down payment assistance programs out there. Contact me if you're interested in those. But most pundits do not see mortgage rates coming down anytime soon. And as you look right here, based on historical patterns, a 25-point basis cut from the Fed seems unlikely, given that inflation went up in June, and it doesn't look like it's likely to subside with the way that the government is handling, tariffs, and things continue to be more expensive. Again, this is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's also not something that you can control. What you can control is, if you have an opportunity to purchase a home, you should probably consider taking it. All right, so I want to end it there. And I want to say thank you for tuning in with me again. It was my pleasure to show you what we have so far and just kind of give you my opinions on what's going on. If you are in the market to sell a home or purchase a home, I would love an opportunity to service you personally. All of my contact information is going to be in the description. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Peace.